I was talking with a friend last night that is in the banking industry, and he was telling me about how bad the loan situations are, the applications, the less of applications that's been coming in and asked for. He said, I've been here for over 25 years, and it's a large bank. It's pretty much all, just about everywhere on the East Coast, anyway, in my area. And he said, I very seldom don't go through at least one day without doing a fairly good sized application for a home. He said, it's been 10 days since I did an application for any real estate. Any. So that's never happened ever. He said, we have quit giving loans unless somebody has a certain percentage, and it's more than 50% of money to pay for a loan, as far as like on a motorcycle, or he said any kind of recreational thing. If you don't have at least 50 or more, less 60% of the value that you're paying on it when you buy it, you're just getting a loan for a 40, maybe 50%, depending on your credit. And it ain't only just about your credit, it's about your net to debt ratio, what kind of debt you're in, kind of situation too. If you got 5 or 6 other payments, but you're making them and your credit's good, they still won't give them to you. They're going on now, not only just by your credit score, but they're looking at your net to debt ratio so hard now that if they see you have XXX amount of going out a month and something that's not just living, your regular your electric bill, water bill, a doable house payment, a doable car payment. If you've got any other kind of things floating around or any kind of credit card debt like that, nope. Not on recreational stuff. He said, we've got acres and acres of lots full of boats, RVs, anything of that nature you can think of, sitting full. Now, he said the motorcycles and stuff like that, they're inside of a building. He said, but we have rental facilities. He said, what we pay, this is that bottom line, what we pay in rentals to keep the things in that we have, it's unbelievable. He said, we just closed a repossession on a towing company that had 65 tow trucks in all. Heavy recovery all the way down to just your basic wrecker. Been in business for over 55 years. And they had to repossess all the wreckers. And he said, that's something right now that everybody's using. He said, we can't get enough people to repossess some of the cars and the things that we have to repossess. Semis. We can't even hire enough people to do repossessions. People are getting to keep their vehicles maybe a month to 2 months longer because we don't have nobody to go get them. And he said, for us to close on that, he said, it's right here local in his area. He said, it's been a staple here. But the dad passed away and the son took over about 10 years ago. And they think it's due to maybe a gambling problem or something of that nature, from what they can gather, because it was just the numbers were too good. And then all of a sudden it's just no money. Just no money. Money coming in, but just it's going out faster than it can come in and keep things paid. So People, he said, I have seen this multiple times, that people are going out and going on gambling things. He said, and I mean, it's a lot. People are sports betting. People are gambling in the casinos. He said, it's unbelievable. And how many accounts that I get laid on my desk every day to where they're overdrawn. And maybe some of them have never been. But they went to the casino this weekend and spent their last $3,000 to $5,000 they had at a casino, wherever about it may be, or sports betting. He said the last time we had that was last year during football season. He said we had a run of people last year during football season that lost several things, and we had to close several accounts and do charge-offs because of sports betting. And he said the people it's hitting right now is people from 25 up to about 40, 45. But he said poker used to be the serious thing about they would find out, I guess, how they lost their money or whatever they was playing. But he said now it's sports betting. He said it's insane. It's insane. He said, and here last week, he said they had a individual that actually went and offed a couple people because of bets. He said it's almost like the mafia type deal. There's people that's making debts they can't pay, and they're getting, that's serious, man. And I'm gonna tell you, I haven't seen it, anything of that nature, but I have heard in a realm that where I'm at, where people got whacked for $100. $100, the principle of it, I guess. I don't know. But he said, man, it's beginning to be a big thing right now. That people think that part of is dead, the mafioso type thing. And he said, not so much with the Italians. He said, it's more of the Russian mafia. And he said, and one that I've never really heard of that to be like this. He said, but the Irish. He said it's got to be a big thing now, where they've organized in the last 15 years. I never heard of it, but I don't, who am I? I don't know. But I just wanted to say, folks, when you have somebody that's working at a large firm like that, and they don't even have the place to put stuff, they have so much of it, and they're letting people, well, they're not letting, they can't get it because they don't have room for it. And then they can't get somebody to even go get it, because they're not only getting it from them, they're getting it for so many other banks or loan facilities or whatever. He said it's unbelievable. And he said, and I'll tell you another thing that's gotten really bad. These payday, whatever they are, loans, where you go and I guess they give you money or whatever in advance on your check. Said, man, I can't even tell you the amount of charge-offs that our bank has for people where they wrote a check for however much money it is, and they can't pay it back, and they had to eventually cancel their bank account because they didn't pay it back. They just said people ain't paying nothing, man. He said, I'm going to be honest with you. He said, there's people right now that's not paying anything. They're buying food and buying gas, and they got a cars paid for. That's all they're paying. That's it. And he said, but I can understand. He said, I do, I understand. He said, because I go to the store too. And I have a mortgage. And I have a vehicle that we pay for. And he said, and I can tell you right now from what I make and what my wife makes, we have to watch every penny we spend, or we'll be in there too with them. He said it's everybody. And he said anybody that says they're not having some kind of financial issue, or they don't see a financial issue with this country, not just in one spot, it's the whole country. He said this country has not been done nothing but run into the ground, and they just keep stomping it in the ground. There's nothing getting better, and nothing they can see in the forthcoming future that's going to make anything better. He said the things that we see coming in, I can't really say. He said, but it's going to get bad, David. He said it by Christmas, maybe even Thanksgiving, there's going to be a lot of people that's not going to have Thanksgiving or Christmas. And there's a lot of shelters that fed people last year. They ain't going to be feeding people this year because they don't have nothing. He said, literally, there's no food banks. There's nothing. He said, it's unflipping believable. So, folks, all I can tell you is buckle up, man, because we're all in this together. And, you know, whatever you believe or however you believe, it doesn't make any difference. If you want to turn a blind eye to it, you can. And, you know, but I can tell you, if you don't have a certain amount of money, I don't really know what that certain amount of money is, but it's got to be way up here. And that's what he said. You know, he said, the only people I see it not affecting is people that ain't age. It's people that have things that's paid off, and they've still been able to make a efficient amount of money. But he said, I've also seen people that had stuff paid off that had to sell it because they didn't have the money to pay the taxes and stuff on it. And it's something they paid on their whole life. And it's sad to have to take somebody that's in their late 60s, the early 70s, and they're trying to go back to work and work a job to try to, both of them sick, maybe, and can't buy their medicines, and they can't even pay the insurance and the taxes on their house without somebody trying to take it away from them. He said, I've got two right now that I've done everything I can to keep from happening. He said, but it's going to be pretty soon, it's going to be over my head. That if I don't, they'll take my job, and I can't afford to lose my job. He said, but I just feel terrible because I know one of the people. And he said, it just breaks my heart. He said, this job ain't fun no more. I used to enjoy my job, he said, but in the last 3 years, he said, I've enjoyed it less and less. And he said, right now, I hate it. But he said, where am I going to work at? He said, you can't get a job. He said, you have one job come up, used to you'd have to deal with maybe 10, 15 people. Now you're dealing with 2 or 3, 4,000 for one job. Said that used to they have trouble keeping tellers. He said now if a teller position comes up, he said we'll have 2,500 applications to look through to hire one teller. Anyway, folks, just passing the word on along. That's all I can tell you. And the gambling, sports betting, and all that stuff is sinking the ships quick. And people are going off. And he said it's bad. He said we hired extra security here in the bank because the people come in here in the bank and how it's been. He said it's been bad. People come in here and want money, and they have to. We've been telling people to order their money if you want cash, because we're not keeping that kind of cash on hand. And he said, and people are not understanding. They gotta. This is the way it goes. We don't have $10,000 in the bank to give to one single person or 5. You have to give us at least a 24-hour notice to get it if you've got it. Anyway, folks, sorry to be a depressing news, but maybe it'll help somebody out somewhere or something. Maybe somebody will hear it that it'll help. Anyway, folks, take care. I hope you have a great week. Great weekend. God bless you. Take care.